Hey, it's been a while since I've done any streaming. Good to be back, and hello everybody. Hope everything's uh, hope everything's going well. But yeah, it's been like a month since I last streamed. I was trying to see if basically I might prefer not streaming and just doing videos, but I think I can do both. I think I can do maybe videos as well as streams or something like that. I didn't want to just abandon my streams because some people really appreciated them. So I'll see if I can keep going. So hello everybody, and welcome back. Gotta stay hydrated. Okay, so I since I last was on stream, I reinstalled my computer. I upgraded the computer. Computer should be quieter, which is cool. Like loads quieter. It's insane how quiet it is in comparison. It is absolutely just silent almost, which is cool. So yeah, that's nice. I guess I can. Yeah, I don't even have any. I reinstalled my computer, which means that like my OBS setup is completely wiped. I didn't want to restart the OBS setup. I just wanted to like re-import it. I just wanted to start fresh. So there's no filters or anything on my audio. So if it sounds a little weird, let me know. If it sounds worse, if it's not visible on screen, if the text isn't visible or anything like that, please let me know. I'm gonna move myself over here to the right hand side. But yeah, today we'll be doing some development with MasterPlan, which is going to be cool. For those who are unaware, MasterPlan. Actually, let me before I forget. Did I interrupt that? No. Okay, I did. Before I start, let me get some music. Hold on. We'll go with. What did I have? I had time into the time stream. Okay, there we go. There we go. All right, so yeah, hello. So yeah, this is a brand new computer. It's all, or brand new operating system. Like reinstalled, nice new computer and everything. This is Manjaro, which is pretty cool. Working pretty well. Manjaro Linux. As usual, I would highly recommend Manjaro or whatever Linux distribution I use. For right now, it's Manjaro, working well. But Solus is also great. Ubuntu is great. Pop! OS is great. Yeah. So anyway, what we're going to be working on today is MasterPlan. So MasterPlan, for those who are unaware, is a project planning software mainly for game developers. So if you struggle with productivity, if you struggle with maintaining your motivation, MasterPlan can help with that, but it also helps with the actual planning process as well. So it has things like timers for maintaining productivity, and it also has things and deadlines, but then it also has things like checkboxes and lists and all that stuff. And I would highly recommend it, as I am the developer of it. So please check it out. I would appreciate it. There's a link in the description. Yeah, there's a link in the description to check it out on itch or Steam. And every time anyone purchases it, it encourages and helps me out as an independent developer. So please help, please throw me a bone if you can. But yeah, so MasterPlan. So here's what we're going to be doing. Hold on, am I? Okay, hold on. Give me 1 second. I just noticed my latency is way higher than usual. I will fix that in a couple seconds. Let me just. I think I can fix it. Give me a second. Can I in order to fix the latency, for some reason it's at normal right now. In order for me to fix the latency, I have to end the stream, which I think I can do. Is the stream dead? Let's see. Should not be. Okay, no, the stream is still going. but I think like the latency is a little. Well, I guess it's not too bad. We'll just go with this for now. So yeah, master plan. I'm gonna kind of go over the things that I've done with master plan and the changes, and yeah, we're gonna talk a little bit before we work on it. I guess before I do, hello to everyone in chat. I'm sorry that this is taking so long, but hello to everybody in chat. Music boy J Boy says, "How do you make chiptune music so good?" Like the intro to the live stream. Thank you, I appreciate that. I've been making music for a long time, and it's only kind of recently gotten better. Not fantastic, but good. I feel like this is solid. Like this isn't fantastic music, but it's getting better. And the more I make it, the longer I live, the better I get at making music and art and stuff. So it just takes time. Stream should still be going. And Pedro Lucas says, "Do you have some cool tutorial about GUI system creation?" Not really. That would, if you mean like doing it by hand, no, I probably could do that after I maybe get through MasterPlan 0.8, which is this recent version with kind of a rework. But yeah, there's a couple things that we did that I've done. So first things first, now menus have a little scroll bar, so you can scroll up and down, which is nice. And if you expand the menu, then it disappears, as it should. But if the menu's too short, then it gives you the scroll bar. And you can scroll up and down using the mouse wheel as well, which is nice. The theme can be selected from within the settings menu right now. It's just this one little option here. I can add more later, but this is the only option for now. VLC is just gonna be telling me every single time it plays that it's playing. Let me see if I can turn that off. It would be notifications. Yeah, no, let's not. Let's see if that does it. But yeah. What else? This is the new task that I added, or new card, which is the map card. This was pretty much the same as, it's very similar rather to how it was in MasterPlan 0.7, point I guess 2 or whatever it was, the last version. But there's some improvements, and that's basically what I've been trying to do for each of these cards that I implement. I want them to be better versions of their previous versions in MasterPlan, in the previous version of MasterPlan. So like now you can edit stuff directly on the overview rather than going into a separate screen. I misspelled that, for example. So, basically, for checkboxes and notes, or any editable text, it's basically right there on the card. And so that's basically the kind of overarching design I'm trying to support or overarching design I'm trying to push for all of MasterPlan 0.8 is everything should be doable right there. You shouldn't really have to open other menus and windows and stuff unless it's absolutely necessary. Dreamcaster says, "Just found your channel and excited to check out MasterPlan." Oh, thank you. That's glad to hear. Motivation and planning can cause a lot of problems for indie projects. Left comments on other videos. Do you go through those? I do. I do read them. I just haven't had I think I saw them, but I didn't respond. I'm not always able to respond, or I see them and then come back later and don't respond. Sorry if I didn't respond. I did see them though. That was just today. Okay, so the tracker I use is Renoise, low poly and Blender. Yeah, okay, yeah. So I definitely read them and see them, but not always on time. And sometimes I forget to respond, but I do see them. I do appreciate the comments. Thank you. Rashad Z says, "Does this software support ARM64 devices?" I'm not building for ARM64, but it could, I suppose. I don't know. I wouldn't know. It probably wouldn't, but I wouldn't know without trying. Yeah, I am only making it for x64, Windows, Mac, and Linux. It would be cool to see this run on devices that has Samsung DeX or mouse support. Okay, yeah, that might be, it might be possible. I'm not 100%. But this is really the main like big thing that I've been working on over the past couple of weeks, was basically trying to figure out what's the best design for this, because map editing is kind of visual, and it requires kind of a special state, and it requires really editing things. I couldn't possibly be that far back, can I? I'm trying to see, am I just like super behind in my preview? I think my preview is like 5 minutes behind or something. Let me see. There we go. Okay, for some reason it was super late. Purple Alpaca says support for Steam Deck. yeah, it'll run on Steam Deck. And I'm hyped for the Steam Deck. I got to make a game for the Steam Deck. But anyway, so this is really the biggest thing that I've been adding, and I took some time to try to figure out like what's a good approach for this, because it has to be a little different. You have to have tools and stuff up here that you don't really have on other cards, because there's not usually that many options for other cards. But for maps, you have other options. So after thinking it over and implementing it, I'm pretty happy with this outcome, with this approach. So firstly, you can draw things directly on it, just like you could in the previous version of MasterPlan with the previous maps. Left click places blocks, right click deletes them, which is cool. You have an eraser, which is kind of it's the same as right clicking, but it's just useful if you, for example, have a tablet. You can easily do that, and then left click, which is tapping on the tablet, tapping on an art tablet like this, rather than having to like press the right click button. That can be kind of awkward. So it's just easier, in my opinion, it's easier to just go ahead and add another tool that you can press, for example, Z or X or whatever, to go ahead and toggle the eraser mode and then just click, which is nice. Flood fill is implemented and working, so you can just fill stuff in like that. If you right click with the flood fill, the bucket, it will fill empty instead. So you can kind of have a little bit of control over that, like that. Oh, whoops. I turned the music off. Music boy, J-Boy said no music. Sorry about that. I completely forgot to turn the music back on. Whoops. Sorry about that. eBoat Right says, do you recommend SDL2 for Golang? Yeah, I think that I've run into a couple of minor things, but not really anything too major. And it's definitely a little bit lower level when compared to something like Raylib or Ebi10. But it definitely works well. Also, Ebi10 got some fixes with its gamepads, so I would heavily recommend Ebi10 for game development. If you're interested in making games with Golang, Ebi10 is thumbs up. SEL2 is also thumbs up. It's just a little harder to get into, I think. Okay, so then you also have lines, which is cool. So you can left click and drag and let go, and it'll make a line. I need to make some sort of visual indication of which cells are going to be filled, but that works fine. And you can also right click to like draw an anti-line, to draw a line that destroys, essentially. Now the big change that I've added is this color system, so you can actually have different colors, and that's really something that was lacking for people who were using this MasterPlan to develop, let's say, an RPG or a Metroid-like that has kind of a lot of zones, a lot of areas. It's kind of lacking to not have that ability. So now you have different colors and you have different patterns, which are really useful. So for example, let's say you were making a game, right, where it's like, okay, and this isn't finalized, it's not perfect, there's still some things I need to fix, but let's say you're making a game like Metroid or something, where it's like, okay, let's say the player starts here, right? So it's like, boom, let's put a note here where we say like player, well, we'll just say Samus. So Samus is starting like right here, right? And I still need to make it so that doesn't happen, where when you click on a card, this is something that's done that it should be done, where you click on a card and it raises it above other cards. That's definitely good, but when you place something on a map, it should basically always stay on top. So that's something I need to implement, because you probably want to put stuff like icons or notes on the map rather than raising the map up. So anyway, yeah, so I guess also when you're editing the map, all other cards could become transparent to allow you to kind of easily look through it. Anyway, so yeah, let's say you're making a Metroid or something. So you have Samus there, and then you're like, okay, so you go down here, right? And then you go down here, and then down here is the first area of Metroid where you get the what's it called? The Morph Ball. And then you go over here, and so you're basically drawing out Brinstar, right? But then it's like, okay, well, you know, the interesting thing or the good thing about this system is that you can color differently for different zones. So you can say like, okay, up here is, let's say, the sky area. You know, I'm deviating from Metroid because I don't remember the areas. But let's say, you know, up here is some area. Let's say down here is like some kind of underground area, and let's say we have maybe an elevator system that goes between, so we can use a dotted pattern for these like that. And then let's say we have crossed areas for maybe an area that is maybe initially out of, maybe requires a specific power up or something like that. And then maybe we have another green area for to indicate a elevator. So now as you draw out your game world, you can really easily see, it's actually this color. As you draw your game world, you can really easily see how it looks and also how it all fits together. And this is a key part of MasterPlan, a key part of game development, specifically if you're making a big game with a lot of different areas or a lot of different, you know, a really in-depth world that locks together. You want to be able to see this before you start making it. Because could you imagine if you started making the entire game and then you're like, wait a second, you know, at the end of the game, the game asks you to like run back, right, through all the areas. Let's say at the end of the game it's like, okay, go back through all the areas with all of your abilities and get some kind of key in each zone. Well, when you plan out your game and you are looking at it, you might be able to see, wait a second, we need some sort of teleportation system, or more like some sort of elevator system, so we can easily say get to these locations. Like let's say that, you know, this is a huge sprawling map that's this big, you know, where you have a key here, 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 and you have no elevators, you have no teleporters. Now you're like, well, this probably isn't going to work. Like that's, you know, you can basically plan out your game, and after a day of planning, figure out this isn't going to work, I need something else. Or you can get a year and a half in and then realize this isn't fun because I have this giant world and the game's fun up until the end where it becomes a slog because you have to run through all these areas and there's no fast travel, there's no teleporters, there's no elevators, there's no alternative means of getting around the world. And this also allows you to more easily plan your world to be interlocked and interconnected in an appreciable way, right? So you can say like, okay, we have these elevators that allow you to move from this zone to this zone. We have maybe you know, this area, for example, it would be like this, or am I clicking? Oh, there we go. It's not perfect. I still have to fix some things. But, you know, let's say this area connects over here with this zone. So, you know, by drawing it out, you can really see your game more effectively. And so that's basically the thing that took a lot of time to kind of get right. But I think it's an important step. It's an important part of the process. Like this is kind of something that, you know, I would love to see, or I would need to have for some kind of planning system for a Metroid, like for an RPG game. And you know, if you're making a game with graph paper or just a pencil and paper, you can do this yourself just by, you know, sketching it out. But there's not really any solution for this in the computer space where you know, you can easily sketch out your design on what is essentially graph paper. There's not really anything like that. And so that's what MasterPlan is kind of trying to fill the role of here. The flood fill option works seamlessly with the different zones, so you can recolor them as necessary, which is nice. Again, it's not perfect. There's still some bugs here and there, but it's perfectly functional. It's functional. It just needs a little bit of spit shine to kind of get it up and perfect. But yeah, that's what I've been working on. There's still a couple of other things I would like to add. One would be a legend, so you can click a button and have a little menu that basically shows you what or allows you to name each zone. So you can say, for example, the white zone is grasslands, the dark green is maybe swamps or something like that, and it would actually draw the text over the green or over the white. I'm not sure if I will be able to do that, but that would be cool, because that would allow you to kind of visually see your map as you draw it in. But yeah, this is the bulk, the main thing that I've been working on over the past couple of weeks. Otherwise, just minor bug fixes and things like that, just getting things to be a little better. I still have to figure out why this is prompting me that it's playing all the time. Let's see. Is it? Let's try that. Alright, let's try that. I'm going to try restarting VLC here. There, that's better, I think. Yeah, okay, that's better. Alright, let's switch this out to another song. Wait, eBoat Right says MasterPlan more like masterpiece. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So pretty. Thank you. Purple alpaca coating. Yeah, it should be nice and clean. Of course, it also works with the light theme. That's also something I fixed a couple of weeks ago. The text was kind of awkward. It didn't look very good. This isn't perfect, but it's better than it used to be. So what I ended up doing was basically taking the text, rendering it to a texture, and then, taking the text, rendering it to surfaces, then reading those pixels on each surface for each glyph, and rendering it to a texture, you basically modulating it. Because by default, it's like, it modulates, it didn't look good because it was modulating the alpha of the text to black, I think, even when the color was different. So it looked awkward. It looked bad on the edges, on the corners. It didn't look anti-aliased like this. So now it looks clean. So now it looks much more readable, much more easy on the eyes. Dummy Account says, like this idea. I bought this MasterPlan a while back, and it's great. Can't wait for the 0.8 update. Do you know when this rewrite will be available to us? Says Slick Revolver. And eBoat Right says, what Linux are you using? I'm using Manjaro Linux. Highly recommended. It's good. As for when the rewrite is going to be available, let me get... Yeah, that's fine. I don't know. I wanted to get it out by the end of July. That didn't happen, of course, and I apologize. But other things kind of were coming up, things that took up a little bit of my time. Hopefully I'll be able to just kind of power through and get this done. I would like to at least let people try it before I actually push it out to like Steam as the main version of MasterPlan. So I might put it as a beta branch there, as well as a downloadable option under itch, without actually having it as as a true update, but rather just like a beta testing system. I have to think about it. So I want to have it be available for people to try before they open up their original projects with it, before they switch over to using it exclusively. But if it's going to get to that point where people are going to be, this is going to be the new version of MasterPlan that people use instead of the original, that means that it has to be able to basically do everything that the original MasterPlan could do. I'm still missing tables, deadlines, a lot of stuff in settings. Undo and redo don't quite work yet. What else? Is there any other? Whiteboards. So I'm missing whiteboard, table, progression, and line, which are kind of the it's interesting because those are the kind of the tasks that I, except for whiteboard, like table, I'm like, how am I going to implement that? Line, I'm like, how am I going to implement that? Progression is pretty straightforward. That shouldn't be too hard. But lines, I have to rethink because it's like, well, you know, lines have to be, people like to use lines the way, like, people like to use lines just to kind of visually segment their project. So they use them in a very free-form way, which is fine. I don't think there's a problem with that. But I also note that people want kind of an easier method of like tying tasks together, tying cards together, without having to, like, you know, create a whole thing, create a whole system. It'd be nice if you could just like press Alt, click on another card, and then boom, you're tying them together in some way, rather than having to create a line card or a line task and then drag the ends. So I have to think about it. I might end up making a shape card specifically for lines, ovals, circles, that kind of stuff, as well as you know, a simple method of tying cards together. I don't know. I have to think about that a little bit more to kind of do both things effectively. Have the freeform method of kind of drawing things, as well as have a nice easy method of tying cards together, especially when it comes to hierarchy of completion, where, you know, maybe a card relies on another card or two to be completed before that one's completed, etc. But yeah, I'm talking a lot, but basically, I don't know when it's going to be available for people to use. If you wish to try it, I can put out a beta build. You know, I mean, it's available on GitHub. So if you're happy to try building it, it's not, you know, if it's not problematic for you, it's easy to build. You just need SDL, Go, and that's kind of it. So I mean, like, you know, it's not too difficult. But I would like to have people try it before I put it out, before I push it out officially. But yeah, so this is what we have so far. Rashad Z says, I have an idea. What about a node extending from all tasks? That could do it. That could work. So basically you're thinking like a little circle or something that you can click and drag, right, to kind of like tie cards or tasks together. Yeah, I mean, that could work maybe on each side. Although that would kind of, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's an idea. I'm not, you know, I'm not a problem. I don't have a problem with that idea. It's just a matter of how, like, what would be a good approach to kind of get this squared away. That will create a line automatically if you drag the node out to the other task. Yeah, so it's just, yeah, it could work. That would be a nice visual method to do it. Or alternatively, holding a keystroke. That could also work. I gotta think about which one's which, or which one would be good. But yeah, that's what we got. So it's going well. Development's going well. It's just a matter of staying with it, sticking with it, and re-implementing all the stuff I implemented before. But yeah, I'm largely done. I probably have like 50, maybe 45%, 35% of the things left to do. Maybe 40%. But yeah, it's going okay. All right, so what we're going to be doing today, now that I've spent 40 minutes just talking, what we're going to be doing today is, we're going to be fixing up the undo system, I guess, because there's an issue going on. As you can see, each time I type, it creates an undo step, and then it creates a little message here that lets me know, that's happening. Okay, so I can undo. That's not really a problem. I can redo. But if I hold undo or redo, it creates undo steps, and I'm not sure why. Because, like, just pressing it once doesn't trigger the undo step, but pressing it multiple times does. Let's see. Let's try this. I'm being stupid here. Okay, so the undo state being created is not being created because of stop dragging. It's not being created there. It's being created here. No. So something else is creating the undo state. Create undo state is true. Is it because the properties change? Specifically? eBoat Right says, what VS Code plugins do you use for Golang? I can't find any good ones. I just use Go. Yeah, I just use the Go plugin, or the Go extension, and then I also use Delve, which is a tool. So like you install Go, and then when you say like install tools, it'll give you the option to install or update any tools that you might need. You can check them off. I just check them all off, and then say okay, and they download and install. And then that gives you linting, that gives you auto completion, go to definition, all the stuff a normal IDE would give you, which is great because that stuff's extremely useful. Let's see. Okay, so the property being changed is triggering the undo state, which is fine, but why does it happen? Why does it happen? Cool, I'll look into that. Glad to hear it, yeah. Yeah, it's the Go plugin and everything is really like developed in comparison with maybe newer languages or things like that. It's solid. Aaron Soul says, hey, it's pretty rare to get to see you live. Yeah, I just decided to pick it back up and try streaming again. It's been a while. Let's move that over. So yeah, we're in the middle of tracking down a bug where undo states are being created unnecessarily. So like you can undo or redo, that works fine, but when you undo multiple times, it creates an undo state, and then you can't redo anymore. And we're trying to figure out why. Because at its core, it's because the properties are being deserialized when the card is being deserialized. So we're deserializing the properties. Excuse me. Aaron says, I really like how MasterPlan looks. Oh, thanks. I'm glad to hear it. Hopefully it'll continue to just grow and get better and better. So when we deserialize a set of properties, we're setting the values raw without triggering an on change. Roland V says, I have a random question. Are you a dev in your civil life? No. Am I a civil? I know what you mean. Like, am I a dev outside of this? No. This is I'm just an indie guy. Okay, so it's set is being called. Okay, so let's see where set is being called. We're gonna debug this. So we will launch this with debug enabled. Oops. We will go ahead and do this. Now we're gonna call this because set should no longer be called. Okay, so where is it happening? Ah, so if the label changes, then we're setting it. Okay. Okay. So the issues coming in, we can stop debugging. So the issue is happening because essentially, if I understand what's going on, when we change the label, it's changing the property, which is fine. That's the backing property, so that, you know, for example, if you copy and paste a card that has some properties, it'll have those same properties in the other card. If you undo, it undoes the property being set, which for the contents, sets the contents, it sets the label. But the issue comes in because when you, but why does that not happen otherwise? Let's see. Okay. Here's what I'm gonna do. Oh, let me see. Hold on. Okay. So I'm let me think a little bit, because there's a couple things. There's a couple ways to solve this. One is a way that basically just walks around the problem, where we basically just say, well, we will only call on change if the label, the boat right says he has to go. All right, see ya. Thanks for coming by. One way to solve this is to basically say, well, we will only call on change on the label, which is a callback. We'll only call that when the label changes if the label ends, like if we're done editing the label. So we're editing it. Here is where the undo state is generated, and so you'll have an undo where it's empty or whatever it was previously, and then an undo when it says ASDF, ASDF, ASDF. The other way to solve it is to generate an undo state for each letter, which feels like you'll run out of. It feels like it's gonna flood the undo slice. Like there's gonna be too much undo steps in the undo history. It's gonna be awkward to run through. So what we'll do, well, there's two things. One is we need to solve this, but then also label on change could just be called when the label is, when we exit changing the label, I suppose. Let's fix it first. But it could be that this needs to be called yeah. So then the core problem here is just that generation of Yeah, the generation of extra undo steps. And the reason why that's happening is because the label's being set to be on change. And card is selected, description equals this. If it's editing, then we set description. Otherwise we set the label's text. So then we don't need to do this, do we? We just do this. Because if it's editing, because we set text. Or is it? Oh, okay. You're right. Okay, I see. So if we're not editing, we're setting the text. Oh, Aaron says I might buy when I get some money. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right. So I think the core problem here is basically when we're editing. Let me undo that change. When we apply an undo step, if you undo or redo, it sets the text, or it sets the yeah, I guess actually this could just not be even here. Yeah, it's triggering that because when we undo it, we set the property, which then sets the text, which then sets the label, the property. Why do we even do this? Why did I even do this? That solved it, but I'm not why did I even do this? So when the label changes, we set the description to be this. So this is just this instead, basically. Or I guess this instead. Set. So we no longer do this because we're handling it. So we could do this, but not this. Something like that. Yeah, and now it's broken. All right. Yeah. All right. So I think we're good to just do that. Okay. Okay. Nice. Now, the thing that's missing now is that there is no creation or deletion of cards. That's missing. How we can fix that is indeed a good question. I guess I can just do it the same way I did it before. Let me see if I can do it again. Let's see. New state. All right, so we don't need this anymore. So the idea here is we call create undo state when the card is new, and we set a flag that indicates that the card is being created. Let's see, create undo state. I guess I could just make this an integer so it's not so awkward. No, that's fine. So, yeah, I guess that's fine. So when we create a card, we tag undo creation. When we delete a card, we tag undo deletion, and we create an undo state. And then when we undo or redo, we can create or delete the card as necessary. Okay, let's see if we can get it to work. This returns a, oh no, new state. Creation. Creation. Okay. All right. So this should work at some point. Let's see. Not right now, but at some point. So create new card. All right, and then delete card. Cards to be deleted. To delete, remove, to delete. Let's see. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out where we can put this. I guess actually this should be done here. For delete to be deleted. So when we call delete cards, I guess here we want cards. Something like that. That we'll see if that works. Now let's go ahead and head over to the undo system and kind of fix this stuff back. Okay. So all right, we'll see if this works. This might work. Maybe. 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 We'll see. Maybe. Oh my gosh, it works. Okay, testing. Yo. Yo, we sick though. Yo, we sick though. Yo, that works really well, actually. Like that's what it should do. Okay, so let's see if it's working as working. Yeah. Well, that's fantastic. This is the best part of making something that you've like troubleshot extensively over like a period of months, is when you rewrite it and you use the same code. It works the same, if not better. That's always a fun coinky dink when it's like, oh hey, this works really well actually. Cool. Should it's okay. It's weird that it doesn't like undo the same way that it redoes, but I'm not sure if I'm going to worry too much about that right now. Let me see. So when you redo from this point, it all goes over, but when you undo, just the green card moves and shrinks, then everything else. So it might be a matter of wait. Yeah, okay. It's like, I think the issue here... Yeah, I think the issue here is basically like... Wait. Creation is working correctly. Like, it creates, and that's a state change, but when we undo, yeah, something's not quite right. Yeah, I think it's about the order of like operations here. All right, let me restart and see if we can kind of pin it down, because it is funky. It's not quite right. Okay, so we create the checkbox, then create the note. We move them both. Yeah, so create checkbox, note, move. When you undo, they both should move. Instead, just the note moves. And when you undo, the checkbox moves and the note disappears. Yeah. Yeah, okay. So it's not working quite right. Move. I think the movement is being spread out across multiple like undo states. Let's see. That's not part of it. Where's the issue here? Let's see this. So we got frame 0, frame 1, and frame 2. So the frame 0 has the checkbox, frame 1 has the note, and then frame 2 has both. 0, 1, 2. But when we undo from 2 to 1, only the note moves. When really they both should move. How did I solve this before? Because this code is basically the same. But man, I can't wait for the Steam Deck, dude. I'm so hyped for the Steam Deck, and I don't even know why. Like I mean, I know why, but I mean, like it's just a computer. It's just a handheld computer. It's just a gaming computer, handheld. But it's so cool. It's just like it's such a the idea of playing your games with you on the go or just in right here, as opposed to having it on this big screen, is just fun. It's a fun idea. I'm gonna get it and I'm gonna make games for it, dude. I think I think a lot of the fun from it for me comes from having kind of not similar consoles, but like I remember having a GP2X. I don't know if anyone on this side of the internet remembers the Game Park Holdings GP2X. I think it was like South Korean handheld, Chinese handheld, but it was like an open source handheld, and it was fun to just like download. Like that was the first handheld I had where it's like, wait, I can just like download games that people make, like homebrew games, and just load them onto the device and play. It was such a like crazy idea, and it was a lot of fun. I think the Steam Deck is kind of similar in that like you can just load games on it and play. It's not as like specific, but so that it'll take a little bit of the fun out to not have it be so specific, where it's like, oh yeah, someone spent time making a game for this device. Instead, it's just gonna be a PC game, but it'll still be fun. Lucretia says, Solar, did you have fun with Nintendo's game making thing? I got it and then like messed around with it for a few minutes and I completely fell off. I had to get back into it. I gotta boot it up and see, maybe I can do a stream on it and see what people are making, because I know people have made some really insane stuff in it, like some actually impressive game mechanics. And I remember thinking of I had an idea actually, because I was looking at someone who was using Game Builder Garage to make something, and I was thinking that the limitations of the system kind of makes you come up with game mechanics that work on a fundamental level. And even though I hadn't actually used the game to come up with an idea, I was thinking a kind of idea that seems like it would work well in that context was something like you take pictures of objects and that allows you to move them around the environment. But not like I know other games have done something similar where like you take pictures and move them around and you can jump on it or whatever, but I'm thinking more like a 3D puzzle game where you have to figure out how can I, for example, open a safe. And to do that, you look out the window, and you take a picture through the bars of the window of maybe an apple. And then the apple disappears when you take the picture, and then you print out the picture, and now you have an apple in your hands. It's like a Polaroid. So you take the picture, then you print out the picture, and now you have an apple. And different levels of the game can be about either trying to figure out what you need to take pictures of to move around the environment, because that allows you to basically reach through impassable objects to pick things up with your camera, essentially. Or the game could say you can maybe take pictures of whatever, but you can only maybe print out a certain number of pictures. So you have to figure out which 2 or 3 objects can I take pictures of to then duplicate or move to solve this puzzle. So basically it's all about perspective, taking pictures of things, and then either duplicating them or moving them as necessary, which is an interesting concept. I feel like that would be something you could easily do. I don't know about easily, but you could do in like Game Builder Garage. It feels like a kind of restrained concept, but it also feels like the kind of game that you could make over like a year and it would sell really well. It feels like a really fun idea for a puzzle game that I'm sure other games have done kind of similarly, but nothing quite like that, where it's like you're not restricted. The point isn't to do some sort of perspective trick to like, line things up and now like the object exists or anything like that. It's just about basically using your camera to make copies of objects or to steal objects out of the existence. It seems like it could be fun. RLNDB says, I work as a dev, but do have a hard time with understanding technical concepts. Others seem faster at grasping them. Is there any tip you would recommend to get better? I don't know. Get better at understanding technical concepts. I feel like, well, I mean, if you're a developer, then you're already like beyond me, because I'm not a professional developer. I just do stuff for fun, / money. But I just do my own things. I'm not employed by a company. But maybe maybe, I don't know if you do, but it could help to develop as like work on things for fun. If you work on things for fun and maybe work on more things that are kind of technical, you might get better at grasping things at a glance and at a kind of quickly. But if you're slow at grasping them, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with other people being faster at grasping things, because they're different. Their brains are literally different from yours, and so their chemical makeup is different. Their maybe electrolyte levels and all that stuff is different. So, you know, how effective those pathways are and how close they are different. So, you know, I don't think you need to compare your brain to others' brains as though their brains are better than yours at doing certain things, and therefore yours is deficient. It's like, well, you know, as long as you can do it, you know, it might take you a little longer, but that's okay. But maybe if you feel like it's on a like fundamental global level where your brain has difficulties understanding technical concepts, and other people you feel like do better, it could be that your brain, I have no idea if this is true, but it could be that you're struggling with pattern recognition. I don't know. That just feels like the same thing, right? Where you're trying to understand something that someone's telling you technically, and other people are like, "Oh yeah, I get it," and you're like, well, "How do you like? What do you mean?" And it could be that you just have issues recognizing the pattern that is being presented to you. So the technical pattern that is being presented to you. That's what coding is. You know, it's a lot of logic, and a lot of that logic is basically the application of logic through technical pathways, where it's like A plus B should be what, and you're like C, or someone else says C, and you're like, what do you mean? So maybe that's what it is. Maybe you just need to work on pattern recognition, not reaction, but basically being able to identify things quickly, and that might help. I don't know. I guess something to help you maybe in the short term is try to see if you have issues grasping other things. Not necessarily technical concepts, but maybe just other concepts or other things. Do you maybe feel like you take longer to identify someone's face, like a friend's face? Like, do you feel like you can recognize a friend as quickly as other people, or do you feel like it might take you longer? I don't know. It just feels like if you feel like this is a appreciable objective difference, then maybe it's not just technical things. Maybe the other things can kind of clue you in as to why it's happening. It's not just about you having trouble with technical concepts, but rather your brain having trouble with a specific process. And if you identify that, then solving that might help everything. I don't know. Basically, try to get more information. If you feel like it's a real problem, try to get more information and kind of dig into it a little bit more. So the fundamental problem, I got distracted, but the fundamental problem here is when the card is created, it's being created with its original position and a little flag here that says it's created, and the same thing for the note flag, and then the new position. So first checkbox, second checkbox, move. When we undo, they both should move. So the issue is that the card isn't being I see. The issue is that when the card moves, a state isn't being set. The checkbox should have a state set here to say basically where it was. It should be this one, but without the creation flag. Okay. When it's clicked, that's what I did. Okay. All right. Let's go back to the card. All right, so we want to create an undo state when we start dragging as well. Let me, yeah, start over. Okay, so I think that might do it. Boom, boom. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, fantastic. So this is 57 undo states here. These are all strings. I'm trying to see how bad this will be on memory. What's our memory looking like here? Let me hold on. Let me get htop up in here. Can I filter out MasterPlan? Memory, CPU is not bad. Memory is 4.4%. Can I get that in some other appreciable amount? 0.4% of 16 gigabytes. That's not. That doesn't tell me how many. Okay, let me just. Can I have system monitor here? All right, so it's using up 24.4 megabytes, 27.4 megabytes. Okay. So let's go ahead and just try like moving this around a little bit. I want to see how bad it gets. Oops. All right, so it's at 30.7, 30 megabytes. So it's not bad, honestly. That's actually pretty good. All right, well that's clearly a bug, but yeah, 33. So it's not really a problem. What we're yeah, 364. So I think you probably won't run into an undo stack issue here. 33 megabytes of memory for a few hundred frames of undo and redo is pretty solid, I think. Yeah. That's beautiful. Nice. Rashad Z says, I find it weird that when it comes to reading and identifying concepts within programming, only if I'm working with or helping someone else. When I'm working by myself, that goes out the window. Yeah, I do find that it's harder to think. Well, okay. RLNDB says also, thank you. That was actually really great input. I have something to think about now. Glad to hear it. Hopefully it's helpful. If not, disregard it. don't hold on to it just because somebody says it. If it doesn't, if it's you should examine it. Examine it yourself. See if it's a problem that you're engaging with. But yeah, I feel like when I'm programming and I think, maybe this is why I find streaming kind of distracting or just kind of takes energy. When I'm programming by myself and I'm not on camera, I get up and walk around. So like I'll maybe run into something and I'm like, I don't quite get this, or I'm maybe designing part of MasterPlan and I'm like, how should this go? I get up and walk around and talk to myself. I find it helps out a lot. When I can't do that, I feel like maybe I'm doing more like hemming and hawing and not really knowing what to do more than when I'm programming by myself. I feel like movement helps. So it might be that if you find it difficult to program or difficult to internalize concepts, maybe you just need some movement, or maybe speaking to yourself. That also helps me a lot. Like I actually talk to myself as though I talk to someone who's not there. I talk as though I'm speaking to someone, and that helps my brain kind of like walk through it. So different people have different approaches for that. Rubber duck, programming methods and stuff, where they might talk to someone, something, talk to themselves, whatever. Something that helps you kind of internalize the process. Maybe that's what you're missing. But otherwise, yeah, just try to dig into it. Okay, so this is good. Let's go ahead and see what this issue is with this here. Okay. Yeah, why is this size so much different? Smash Battle says this is Mega Pog. Okay, I appreciate that. I'm not sure how, but I appreciate that. So why is it so much bigger? What's up with that? So this is the right size. This is not the right size. This is the right size. Yeah. So it seems like it's adding to the size for some reason. Oh, I see. No, I don't see. Why is this so much bigger than this when this is the correct size? Like, this is the correct size of the card when it's fully extended. Why is it bigger here? So we'll have to examine that. We will no longer print out the undo states. We're pretty good on that. Yeah, here we go. Undo that. We will now go back to the card. Let's close all others so we have a little bit more of a clean workspace. So the issue is when you're copying, right? Yeah. Yeah, it's bigger. Why is it bigger? It might be that it seems like it's adding. Is it just adding? Yeah, there's something going on there. So let's examine it. Wait. Is this part of it? No. Okay, so then we're good to leave that deleted. All right. Let's see. Yeah. So let's go ahead and figure this out. We're gonna paste. This is clone. I don't have any clone. It's crazy to look at the difference between the current, for example, card implementation, which is like 500 lines, versus the previous task implementation that was 2,200 lines. It's 2,200 lines. That's kind of bananas. I haven't implemented all this stuff, so it's gonna keep rising, but it's just funny to see the difference. Yeah, I gotta don't forget to do this. Okay. So what we need to do here is figure out how this is happening. So when we go to page, I think it's probably clone, paste. Okay, so pasting a card is just making a new card and then deserializing old card data into the new card. And then we add it to the page. Okay. Remove them. Or they already are added to the page. Okay, so remove them, we lock the position, cards. Okay, so this is all well and good. So when we deserialize, is that where the issue is? So this says the width is 256 and the height is 32. So why is it bigger? So we recreate it here and then we deserialize the properties. Oh, that's why I did it like that. Okay, now I remember. So I deserialize the properties before setting the size, because otherwise if we do it in reverse order like this, then when we recreate the size, then the properties get deserialized and then the card contents like set their size, I guess. Hold on. I think I'm on the right track here, but I believe this is the problem. Let's see. So we do call update. We do recreate. Recreate automatically. Okay, we're good there. So set contents. We call update. So calling update is what sets the size. Okay, so when we call it deserialize here, I think what we want to do is basically override the card contents. Although I reversed this order, I think, specifically because, yeah, I did this. We set this right position and size before deserializing properties and setting contents so that the contents can know the actual correct current size of the card, important for map contents. Okay, so I did this because that's the only way that the map works, huh? If I do this like this, which is, I believe is what we need to do. Yeah, this works. As incorrect. Wait, let's see. Label on change. Card I recreate. Is it this? Forgive me as I traverse this wasteland of mental. Yeah, I think it's this. I think it's this. Yeah, okay. So the label's being changed, and that makes the size change. We don't want to do that if we're just... Well, wait, when does the label change? The label changes here? With editing, then we set the description. Otherwise, we set the text to be the description. Let me change the music. I'm like right on the tip of the iceberg in terms of... Hey, give me that. Give me this mess. Like this isn't going to solve anything, but it's a groove, so that's fine. Okay. So the core issue here is that we're setting the text to be this, but is it not? Okay, I think I got it. Lucretia says, "Yo, I missed that song Halt. It used to be on their SoundCloud, but I think you removed it. Halt. I never made a song named Halt. Halt? Was it on the Gear and OST? I don't think I did. Halt. Halt. No, I never. Yeah, I never made a song named Halt. Unless you're gaslighting me, unless my mind is failing me, I don't think I made a song named Halt. No, I don't think so. Yeah, I think maybe what we can do, if you come up with a song, I'll play it. It was a song in all capitals, started with an H. I think I asked you a long time ago if I could use it in a game jam. Start with an H, all caps. H. All caps. There's not that many songs I make that are all caps. Let me look through my library here. A long time ago? A long time ago. Okay, I think I might be like it might be coming back to me. Let me check something real quick. I will find out the name. I appreciate it. Thank you. I believe I know. Like I'm pulling Sunbox off of my external drive so we can I can take a look through the I guess actually I don't have to do that to see if I have anything with that name in here. I did make a song named Halt, but I don't know if I ever used this anywhere. Let me see if I can pull it up. Hold on. Let's see. We will listen to it together. This is incorrect. Hold on. Songs, okay. Let's see. So it was Sparky. I don't know if this is. Hold on. Is this what you were talking about? It might be kind of loud. I don't know. I haven't played this. This one? Was that one? Yeah, this. You remember why? How? This song is trash. This song's so bad, dude. This is sick. Nah, man. This is yeah. Old school Solar. Old school Solar walked so new school Solar can run. This is so bad, dude. I'm just looking. I mean, just all of But see, this is how people get better. It's just content, man. You just gotta make stuff, even if it's bad. This isn't even. This is like a few seconds, like a few minutes of work. Like it's not even a lot of time. But if you just spend enough, if you spend 5 minutes a day making games or making music, then in a 5 years you'll be pretty good. Man, that takes me back. Let's go back to the bangers. All right. Yeah, so I think we can just maybe push this back here. That might do it. Nope. It was a whip work in progress on SoundCloud. Oh really? Wish I heard that 5 years ago. Why? That was trash. All right. Maybe I should remake that song. I don't know. See what I can do with it, with that like one chord progression. Like it's just one chord basically. All right. Maybe I should. Okay. So the core problem here, I believe, is just essentially the text. Like when okay, I think that is what it is actually. Like when we create a card, it's got default text. It's got new note or new checkbox or whatever. When you set the text like this, that's the text, right? I still don't get why it's bigger though. Oh, because hold on. Yeah, I think this is probably a part of it. Lucretia says, I can't stop laughing. That's your best song. No, it's not. It's trash, dude. It's so bad. It's so bad. It's not my best. It couldn't possibly be my best song. Yeah, it's 7 here. It couldn't possibly be my best song. No, I refuse to believe. I refuse to believe. Nah, it couldn't possibly be my best song. Come on. Yeah, 10. Okay. No, not this song. The previous song I played, that sounded like garbage. That is what that's what Lucretius says is my best song. Manuel says, what is your best song? I'd like to hear it. I don't know. There's a lot. I remember it being so much cooler. Yeah, I thought it was cool when I made it at the time too. I thought it was sick. I think that like that's just, part of growth. Growth is basically you looking at something and being like, oh man, it's so good. And then as time passes, you're like, it's not as good as I remember, or like, oh, I see how he did that. I remember listening to Ultra Sid, who I think he passed away in 2020, which is unfortunate, or early 2021. But he's a chiptune artist. And I remember listening to one of his songs. It's like Smiley Face on. That's just it's just colon parentheses on SoundCloud. Let me see if I can find it. I'm not gonna play it. Is this it? Yeah. And I put it in the chat. But that song, I remember listening to it and being like, "This is sick." Now I'm listening to it and it's like, it's still sick, but I'm seeing how he did some of the techniques he did, and that's great. I'd like to like be as good as he was, because that song, that Smiley Face is like, what? It's great, like electro. Anyway, the best song for me, I don't know. I don't know what I would say is my best song. I think the songs I have, or the songs I make nowadays, I lean more so toward like old school video game music. So my favorite songs of mine are going to be maybe more so like that, as opposed to some modern stuff. Let me see if I can. This one's pretty good. I wouldn't say it's my best, but I think it's pretty solid.
We are the children of a pagan.
Yo, what?
Born from
this one has lyrics on it? Hold up, since when? Okay, well, that one was one of the best ones, but I'm not a fan of my lyrics on top. Let me see. I don't know what I would say is my favorite song. I know that some people like this one a lot, and I think it's good. Lucretia says, I remembered you saying that once you know chords, making music is a little easier. Surrounding that, if I wanted to start learning, trying to produce stuff like you do, how would I start? Where would I start? I don't even know. Because I started making music because my brothers were making music, and they're better at it than me. So they taught me, mainly my middle brother, my directly older brother, Timmy Crown. He's a music producer, and he makes fantastic stuff. I'm gonna link him because he's like the best musician in the past 20 years. I mean, like his music is fantastic. But he basically expounded to me like, oh, you know, this is a triad, this is a chord, you know, this is a minor, this is a major, and just kind of doing that kind of basic stuff. And then, you know, periodically he'd be like, okay, here's an extended chord, or here's, you know, a seventh chord or whatever. And so I started to kind of learn how chords work without really like knowing how they work or understanding them. And so just over time, I kind of got better at it. So I don't know where you would go. Timmy Crown is my bro. Yeah, he's my older brother. And his music is like literally the best. like if he like tries to make a song, it's going to be a banger. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts. He only makes bangers. He exclusively makes bangers. If it's a film orchestral song, it's a banger by orchestral standards. If it's, you know, a salsa song, it's banger by salsa standards. Like every song he makes is just like the best iteration of that. Like if he makes kind of like a tense, you know, like let's equip ourselves for the heist kind of, you know, song. Like if that's the kind of feeling of like tense. There's a song on his SoundCloud that's like that, where he's like, it's like people equipping, like for a movie, people equipping themselves for standard issue, for like, you know, something about to happen, like they're, you know, getting ready. It sounds like something from Inception. It sounds like something from a big blockbuster film. So like his level of skill is phenomenal. And so over time, he's, you know, kind of like helped me a little bit here and there with some stuff. And so I just kind of picked up some things. I have my own bangers. Thanks, I appreciate it. I'm not Timmy Crown level, but if I like put my mind to it, I can make some cool stuff. Not at his level, but I can make some cool stuff. But yeah, I think, and I thank you for enjoying my aesthetic, my song aesthetic. I appreciate it. Also, the dabbing emoji. I know it's cough into elbow. Yeah, elbow cough. It's elbow cough, but it's just a dabbing emoji. I don't even know why. I don't even know. Like they should just call it the dab. They should add. Yeah, they should just add an alternative, like either elbow cough or dab is the same emoji. But anyway, yeah. So if you want to learn music, I'm sure there's YouTube videos and YouTubers who will teach you like the fundamentals in 30 minutes, an hour. You know, I'm sure that there's, you know, of course there's hundreds upon hundreds of hours of content that you could make on music and, you know, chords and the process of creating music. But I think that if you want to just get started, you could probably find a video that kind of talks you through, like, here's a triad, here's you know, a melody, here's the concept of bass, here's the concept of accompaniment, and you can kind of just like take that and start working, and then after a year you'll be pretty solid, in my opinion. You'll be okay. Probably, like I'm okay. I'm okay. So anyway, the problem I got distracted again. The problem that we're having here is essentially the text is being set to the full thing, and when that happens, it sets the line count. We don't want that to happen, so how do we avoid that? We set the contents before. We could try setting the contents before we recreate. But didn't I try that already? I tried that already and it didn't work. Didn't I? Oh, maybe I didn't. Let's try this. I feel like it's starting like small, but it gets big. Oh, okay, so it doesn't matter, because once we do this is, okay, so this is happening, that's fine, but then when we go to contents, it's setting it here, and that's what's happening. So it's setting the label text. Okay, so here's what we can do, I guess. We might be able to get away with something hacky like this. That might work. It does not work? Why would it not work? Let's see. Okay, so this is a fundamental problem, I think, that we need to resolve. Hog says, wish I still had the game dev rush after I got older and started working. It's like my creativity was fleshed off. Yeah, I feel you. I think that, I think creativity is one of those things where everybody has it, but I think it takes skill, not skill, it takes exercising. It's like a muscle. It's a muscle that you have to kind of get into. Like, I think, well, there's a couple kinds of creativity. Well, there's just one kind of creativity, I guess, where you draw on something familiar to you or that you have seen before or something that you like to create something new. I think that creativity, or maybe there's two kinds of creativity, but that kind of derivative creativity is something everyone can do, and it's something that's relatively easy. I think that if you do want to be creative, put your mind to it and be creative. I think, you know, there's nothing wrong with being creative. And when you think about, and I think it's something that's a little, people will kind of get maybe a little kind of like stuck up on when they think of creativity nowadays, because I feel like maybe back in the day, you know, before the internet, before you know, people were kind of easily put into contact with each other, I feel like the concept of going on a trip for inspiration is something that people did more. I feel like, you know, artists, you know, creators, whatever, inventors, they would be like, let me go to, you know, this other land where maybe I'll be able to pick up some new technology or pick up some new ideas that would, you know, I could apply to my work. So that is an inspiration to creativity. Nowadays, people don't really do that, I think, as much, because every technology is globalized. Everyone is familiar with cell phones. Everyone is familiar with technology of a variety of different kinds, and perhaps the existence of all of these kinds of technology can kind of override your creativity because it feels like everything's existing already. But I think that, you know, you can be creative. I think that you can find something that you can draw on to make something else, make something new. I think that you don't have to be creative. I think everyone is creative. They just might not feel creative all the time. And it's okay to not feel creative all the time. I think that if you put effort into it, you can become more creative. I think that there's no such thing, I think, as a creative person as opposed to a non-creative person. I think everyone is creative. Everyone is able to create. Kind of like Ratatouille. Everybody can cook. Everybody can create. Everybody can, you know, do something. Yeah, so I think the core problem with this is basically when we set the text, it's automatically setting the line count, which we don't want to happen, essentially. I'm trying to figure out what would be a good way to fix this. I'm not sure if there is a way to fix this right now. Hog says, thanks. Such wise words. Thank you. Well, you're welcome. / thank you. Yeah, I think that it's easy to get into your own head about things that you'd like to improve without really, you know, recognizing that it's okay for them to be different. Like, it's okay that you don't feel like you're creative, because creativity is kind of a skill, like every other skill. And it takes effort to manifest creativity, manifest motivation, you know, to engage your mind to be productive. But, you know, it's okay to rest too. Not everyone should be productive all the time. That's a recipe for overworking. So yeah, I think the core problem here is basically when we type, obviously it just kicks all of our text out. That's the problem. I'm not sure if there's a real solution for this, because the design is such that, you know, you want to be able to, you know, make the card larger as necessary to fill out the text. You know, as you type, it gets bigger. But if it's smaller, we don't want to do that. So I guess we could check to see if it's collapsed, basically. If it's not full, then we don't do it. But if it is full, then we do it. That might be a fine solution. Let's go with that. Oh, and Hog says this song is so comfy. Thank you. Yeah, it's very nice. That might be the song I'm most proud of. It feels very much like a classic SNES nighttime banger, nighttime RPG, just chill out song. Alright, I'm gonna be signing off soon. I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do here. So, the core problem here is that when we were resizing, here, we want to be able to tell when it's not full, basically. I guess actually we don't need to do that here. We can do this here. We can say if cc.container ideal size y. This might do it. Let's see. Hog says, please send the SoundCloud link for this banger before leaving. Sure thing. It is. I never uploaded this? Okay. Sorry, Lucretius. I remember that you asked specifically for this, and I said I would, and I completely forgot. I will upload it now. I guess I can show this. I don't need to have this be done off screen, but yeah, I'm uploading this now. Also, yeah, check out Tony Tai, Q-Bomb, absolute banger, jazz banger, please. It's fantastic and amazing. Please check out Tony Tai from Staff Circ, their SoundCloud page. There we go. Okay, I uploaded it now. Sorry for that, for taking so long. I always forget. Okay, so this might be an ideal solution. We'll give it a shot and see if it works like we hope it will. It does not. May I see what the ideal size is? I don't think actually. Yeah, that won't work. Never mind. Can we try? So we know when we're typing, when there's more to the text. Maybe if game dev is too unproductive, you could just become a game streamer. I mean, like you laugh, but I do be destroying people on Smash. So maybe maybe you'll see me do a Smash stream, a few Smash streams. Maybe I'll become Solar Smash. That'll be my second YouTube channel. Maybe, who knows? Anyway, this isn't working, and I have to figure out why. I know why it's not working. I'm not sure how to properly approach the problem. Because basically, we want to be able to easily create new lines by just typing or pressing enter or whatever. But then, if we resize the container to be smaller, then we basically don't want to resize it. We want to get where the cursor is and resize it for that. Okay, that's what the difference is. So if the cursor is down here, then we want to resize. Okay, that's where the difference is. All right, so we got the label, we got the caret position. Okay, we get advanced caret position. Caret position is an integer. Advanced caret. Alright, so let's try this. This might be where we kind of know. So let's say we want y to be cc label dot index to world cc label dot text selection caret position y. Print that out. See where that gets us. Why is it minus 64? Oh, because it's the actual. Oh, it's the actual location. Okay. All right. So then let's say it's this plus rect.y. All right. So I think I'm almost there. Also, Lucretia says, "Yo, I'll play you. I'll destroy you. You may give it your best shot, but I believe myself to be a heck of an incineroar." All right, so this is, I think, where we need to be. Okay, so now that we know where that is, then we basically say if y is greater than the height, then we want to know the difference. Yeah, we'll just go with that. Let's try that. Weird. Let's see. Can I print out? Yeah, incineroar. 32. If y. Let's see. Okay. Man, this is an interesting problem. Maybe what we need to do, because this is really more of a problem that needs to be approached from two angles. One is that you can do something like this, where text can be off the card. My original plan is just to have like a ... at the bottom right corner of the label that indicates that there's more text there. But then also, this is a little jank. But then also, something that I have yet to do is fix this issue with the resizing rects. So I'm thinking that basically the label should only be resized I gotta think about it some more. What? Oh, that's right. Because of the cursor, yeah. Yeah, I gotta figure out how to do this. Yeah, I gotta figure out how to do this. This is a design issue. It's not a technical issue. It's a design issue. It's endemic. It's an issue that shows there's a problem with the design, which is fine because I'm the designer. So I have to figure out. It's my problem to solve. But I guess essentially it's kind of what should happen when we type and then resize it to be smaller. A little ... is there, but then there should probably could be there, and then there should probably be a scroll bar that like indicates that there's more there. That seems wise. Yeah, that seems like a good idea. Then we just scroll it according to where the cursor is. Then we don't have to change the size. Yeah, I got to think about it some more. I'm just not quite. It's not quite there. I'm not quite there. I'm not quite there. Yeah, I'm not quite there. But the time has come. Unfortunately, I need to go. It's been fun, though. It's been enjoyable hanging out with everybody and doing some work and showing what MasterPlan has become and how far it's come. Still not perfect, but I'll keep cracking away at it and see if I can get it up and running soon and available for download. Thank you very much for watching. I've been SolarLune. If you wish to support development, please do try out MasterPlan. If you already have it, then maybe you could buy a copy for a friend. I'm sure, or just to give out on the internet. Yeah, I would appreciate it. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. I've been SolarLune. It's been real, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side next time. Probably today's Wednesday. Maybe either Friday or Saturday. I'll see if I can squeeze another stream in today or this week. All right, I'll catch you later, and thank you very much for watching again. See ya.